Today I'm going to share with you some of my insight into appreciating music. Maybe you'll hear things that you didn't before. You'll also understand better the creative process of the composer or the arranger. Music is the most accessible form of art because music is sound and sound is all around us. The basic elements, rhythm, beat, pitch, maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't. I'll explain a little bit so you understand as we go along. Take for example the way you walk. Right? When you walk at a steady pace. You don't take 3 quick steps and 2 slow steps. So that steadiness, that becomes the beat. You don't really hear it in music, but it's a steady pulse. The rhythm is like speaking. It's the words that you say. It's the sounds of the words, the space between those sounds. Like the word rainbow, or the word chocolate, or the word rain. They all have their own rhythm to it. Let's try that together. Let's put beat and rhythm together. This is the beat, and the rhythm is going to fall over the beat. Peanuts and walnuts and hazelnuts, almonds and all other kinds of nuts. So there we go. We have beat and rhythm. Music really expresses our emotions, right? So we use music for celebrating. When we're happy, when we're joyous. Sometimes we use music to unwind. Perhaps you could be driving home from work completely tired and you turn on the radio. We can even use music when we're sad, just to unwind and listen to something that connects with us. And that's because the lyrics and the melody, they come together to express that emotion. And all the other things around that lyric and melody, like the instruments or the genre of music, enhance this experience. Some of you might have heard this famous song. Right? This is the famous song, Favorite Things, from The Sound of Music. Most of you remember Maria von Trapp singing it to those little kids. Here the rhythm and the lyrics are very straightforward. Raindrops and roses and whiskers on kittens. It's quite straightforward. It's set in a classical musical theatre genre. Let's change the instrument a little bit. We have Sherwin Ramos, who's going to play this on the trombone. We can hear that the rhythm of the notes has changed. He's changed it from a straightforward pattern where we have ta 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 ta. He's changed it to ta 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 ka ka ta ta. So it's syncopated. It's off the beat. This brand new setting changes the way we hear the music, changes the genre of the music. And now the instruments that are playing with the trombone are going to enhance this experience. And here we have a jazz setting of a classical musical theatre song. So one of the reasons why I love jazz music, I was teaching a class a couple of years ago, and I asked the kids, what makes jazz music different from other genres of music? And this one kid says, I know. And I asked him what? And he says, jazz music has swag. So there we go. That's why I love jazz music. I listen to all kinds of music, mostly pop and jazz, but also choral music. I was part of a choir. Now, when you hear the word choral music, a lot of you only associate choral music with church music or classical music. But choral music can be a lot of different things. It can be a choral arrangement of a pop song, or it can be an avant-garde jazz arrangement. So we're going to talk about choral music for a minute. But before I do that, I want to explain to you the next piece that we're going to discuss. In 2004, our group was invited to sing at an international festival in Cologne, Germany, where we had to feature sacred choral music from our country. Now, Indian music is not choral in nature, it's not harmonic in nature. And what I mean by that is the instruments that are used in Indian music are primarily melodic. You have the sitar that plays a beautiful melody, or you have a singer, or you have a tanpura, right? And then you have percussion that supports that. So you have the dhol, or you have the tabla. And together they don't form any harmonic structure. They form a melodic and a rhythmic structure. So taking an Indian melody and setting it to choral music was a very new experience for us. So we have this beautiful Indian melody in the Sufi style. We're just going to have a listen to it right now. Right off the bat, we can hear the striking melody that the boys are singing. Hey Pita, your cry to God. And that's so beautifully expressed through this Sufi melody. As we go through the piece, we hear how the melody along with the harmony of the other voices come together. Now, what are the other voices in a choir? We have the boys, they sing the tenor and bass voice, and then we have the ladies who make up the soprano and alto voices. So the men that were singing were the tenors, and now we hear how the choir supports the movement of this piece. So when we go to the next line, Teri marzi ho ki tera raj jo, okay, we hear how it sort of sounds like the majestic sound of the brass instruments like the trumpet or the trombone, and they are announcing the kingdom. So we hear this beautiful harmony. Right? And you can almost imagine the brass going pa, 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 right? The harmony is also Western influenced. So that doesn't exist in Indian music. Once we reach the top, the high point of this melody, we come back to earth, just as the lyrics bring us back to earth. With Dharti Pe Bhi, the lyrics bring us back down to earth. On earth may it arrive. And now the melody also comes back down to earth with the harmony. Let's have a listen to these two phrases. So here we have two very different ideas. A Sufi melody, which is the traditional Islamic devotional music, and you have the Western harmonies coming together to create a new genre.
Nam, 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 nam. Oh
instrument to maybe a piano, and we think about arranging a song just for piano, right? It changes our perspective a little bit. So now we don't have the other instruments supporting the melody, but you've got to do that within the melody itself. So let's take this beautiful melody. I'm sure most of you recognize it. This is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And you have this beautiful open sound in the melody. In between that, we can color it with some chords or the harmony. Now, the beauty about playing a piano is that it kind of condenses what the other instruments can do. So it condenses what you'd hear in a band or in an orchestra, or even the choir. And you have these beautiful moving lines. What do I mean by moving lines? You hear the moving lines in between. So let's hear that once. Can you hear that? And now we have some other moving lines. Now we try to keep the harmony really basic here, and then we repeat it the second time when we play the melody again. Repetition is important because it creates a familiar pattern. We don't want to overwhelm the listener right off the bat. Now we come to the middle of the song where we have these repeated notes. Right? And now we can color it in with some chords. Now the chords not only add color, but they add movement, because the notes are staying where they are and the harmony moves up and further up. And when we come back to the melody a third time, we can slightly change it because we've established a strong melody in the beginning. So we can change it. And there you have it. You have 3 different ways of appreciating music. I hope the things that I've shared with you really inspire you to listen to music in a different way, maybe appreciate something that you didn't before. Perhaps you'll appreciate a genre of music that you overlooked. Music doesn't have to be just one thing. It doesn't have to have just one answer. Maybe if you want to compose or arrange, and when you approach a project, perhaps you'll think of the instruments differently or the genres of music differently. And always remember, art takes time. It cannot be rushed. Thank you.